Hello folks, and welcome to another edition of Game Time Situation. I'm Brian Vale, and this is Chip Whipple.
We have a star-studded episode tonight detailing the latest in Ashland athletics.
That's right, Chipper. It's playoff time here at AU with winter sports winding down.
And we actually have a spring sport digging into the season as well.
We also have the return of the Game Time Spotlight as another athlete will go under the bright lights.
So what you're saying is we should get started?
Well, what time is it?
It's game time. Who?
The women's basketball team had lost 2 straight games going into a GLIAC South showdown with Gannon on Valentine's Day. Earlier this season, the Eagles lost in Erie by 1 point. This game seemed to be on its way to another close finish, as an Elizabeth O'Brien layup tied the game at 20 in the first half. A 9-0 run to end the first half gave Gannon a 29-23 lead going into the break. The Knights would keep the lead in the second half, going up by as many as 10 midway through the stanza. AU slowly made a move from there, cutting the lead to 3 with under 5 minutes left. Lisa Grau hit a 3 to tie the game, and then after a pair of defensive stops, Alethea Lamberson nailed a tray to put the Eagles ahead 65-62 with under 2 minutes to go. Ashley Loudermilk made a jumper to make it 67-66 AU with 39 seconds remaining, and then after Lamberson missed a 3 after a long possession, giving Gannon the ball with 10 seconds to go. An inbounds pass was completed, and Christina Freeman ended up with the ball in her hands, and she was fouled with 4 seconds left. She made both free throws, and a long 3 try by Lindsay Gott was off, giving the Knights another 1-point win over the Eagles. I think AU would like another try against Gannon. Too bad the regular season is over. Grau led with 17 points to go along with 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals, 3 blocks, and 3 turnovers.
She likes the number 3.
Jessica Minge added 15 points and 7 rebounds. Freeman scored 17 for the Knights, while Loudermilk added 13. Mercyhurst came to Kate's next, Chipper. How did the Eagles do there?
Well, Mercyhurst came to town Saturday, February 16th after earning their second GLIAC win of the season on Valentine's Day over Findlay. The Eagles defeated the Lakers earlier this season 76-71 in Erie. This game remained close through halftime as the Eagles only maintained a 45-38 lead at intermission. Ashland separated themselves from the Hearst with a 14-1 run to start the second half. The Eagles would not let the Lakers back into the game as they won easily 95-69. Minch led all scorers with 27 points on an extremely efficient 11 of 12 shooting. I don't know if you know this, Vale, but that's pretty good.
Indeed.
Not only did she shoot the ball, but she blocked 3 shots in the contest, doing her best Dikembe Mutombo impression. While Minch was doing her Mutombo impression, Grau thought she'd go Jason Kidd on the Lakers. Not the Los Angeles Lakers, but the Mercyhurst Lakers.
Of course.
Grau closed in on a triple-double, but fell short as she scored 9 points, dished out 9 dimes, and grabbed 8 rebounds. Betsy Morrison added 14 points and 4 rebounds off the bench. Mara Dreiser led the Lakers with 19 points, and including 10 points from the free throw line. Paris Pugliese added 14 points and 9 rebounds, but she did turn the ball over a game-high 7 times. The Eagles continued their homestand with senior night last Thursday against the Wayne State Warriors. Did the Eagles win their last home contest of the season, Vale?
I am glad you asked, Chip, because I have that information right here. It was senior night for Biz O'Brien, and with Wayne State in town, it was a big game for both teams as they fought for seeding in the GLIAC tournament. AU was looking to avenge a loss earlier this season in Detroit. At the 11-13 mark of the first half, the game was tied at 19. Alethea Lamberson hit a jumper and then a 3, putting AU up 5. That run would spark a larger spurt by the Eagles, putting them up double figures before a late burst by the Warriors made it 42-35 Ashland at half. Ashland led 26-6 in points in the paint in the first 20 minutes. Lindsey Warren and Biz O'Brien scored 8 quick points in the second half to give AU a 16-point lead that they would not relinquish. The advantage would reach 22 before Wayne recovered to make the final score 77-66 Ashland. Warren had a team-high 21 points, grabbing 7 rebounds. O'Brien added 11 points in her final home game, while Grau and Gott had 10 each. Jasmine McCall scored 25 for Wayne, who shot just 34% from the floor in the game. Ashland had a 33-11 edge in bench points in the contest. With the win, Ashland did a lot to securing a top 3 seed in the South. Chip, could AU win on the road to ensure a date with not Hillsdale?
Well, this past Saturday, the Eagles played their last game of the regular season at Findlay. Earlier this season, Ashland beat Findlay at Cage Gymnasium 71-58. Wanting to keep their winning streak going into the postseason, the Eagles beat the Oilers 72-66 this past weekend. Warren continued her stellar play as she scored 23 points and grabbed 11 rebounds coming off the bench for Ashland. O'Brien and Morrison each added 12 points to help pace the Eagles. Brittany Wells led the Oilers with a game-high 24 points. Jessica Vorst added 13 points and pulled down 7 boards. The win improved the Eagles to 17-10 on the season, 10-7 in the GLIAC, which put them in 3rd place in the South. The Eagles will now travel to Gannon this Saturday for the first round of the GLIAC tournament. As Vale mentioned before, the Eagles lost both games to the Golden Knights this season, each by 1 point. Ashland will be the 3rd seed in the South Division and hope to turn those 2 one-point losses into motivation for a W this weekend. If the Eagles advance, they would play in the GLIAC Final Four next Friday, March 7th. So the women are in the postseason. Now, Vale, can you help the viewers with how the men have been doing lately?
Well, Chip, the men's basketball team took on the same 4 opponents as the women over the past few weeks. Would they have the same success as the Lady Eagles? No. Gannon came to town first, having won 14 of their last 15 GLIAC games this season. At the halfway point of the first half, the Knights led a sluggish affair, 11-7. The visitors gradually pulled away from there, as 2 threes by Joe Lindsay and another from Styler Stachinski gave Gannon a 31-15 halftime lead. Ashland was just 7 of 31 from the floor in the first half. AU weathered an early run in the second half, and a Brett Bartlett 3 made it 43-31 with 14 minutes left. 3-pointers by Corey Knight and George Johnson put Gannon back in control as the lead ballooned to 20 points. The Eagles never made a serious dent in the lead as Gannon came away with a 77-55 road win. It's hard to put a dent in the balloon.
Yes.
The Knights had 18 second chance points to the Eagles' none. AU was out-rebounded 44-27 in the game, and Bartlett scored 22 points and had 5 rebounds to lead Ashland. Freshman Cale Richardson added 11 points and 7 boards. 5 Knights were in double figures, led by center Kyle Goldkamp, who scored 16 points and pulled down 7 rebounds. AU shot 38% from the field in the contest. The loss dropped Ashland to 500 for the season. Could they get atonement for their loss earlier this year to the Hearst Chipper?
The Eagles tried mightily, but were not able to get back over 500 against Mercyhurst. The Lakers beat the Eagles earlier this season in Erie, 81-75, in overtime. Ashland started off slow once again, this time falling behind 24-6 with 12 minutes and 17 seconds remaining in the first half. The Eagles fought back, however, closing the gap to 26-19 and then to 34-31 with 1 minute and 34 seconds remaining, including a rarely seen 5-point trip by the Eagles' Greg Preer. The turning point in the game, though, took place in the last 10 seconds of the half. The Lakers scored, and then on an errant pass, the Eagles gave the ball back to the Lakers with 0.5 seconds left. Mercyhurst passed the ball into Sergeant Popovic, who hit a fadeaway 3-pointer as time expired to give the Lakers a 41-31 halftime lead. Where Popovic left off in the first half, Terry Smith took over in the second. Smith dominated the second half, scoring 31 of his 37 points to pace the Lakers to an 81-69 victory. Smith dropped in 9 threes, 7 of which came after intermission. His 37 points were the most by an Eagles opponent since 2005. Richardson led the Eagles with 23 points and 11 rebounds. Preer added 16 points and 3 steals off the bench. Bartlett dropped in 3 3-pointers, and with the threes, Bartlett passed LeBron Gladden as Ashland's leader in career 3-pointers with 215. The Eagles lost the game, but still had a chance to make the GLIAC tournament. How did they do on senior night, Vale?
The Warriors jumped out to a 7-0 lead in the first few minutes, but AU would get into the game as the half continued. A Cale Richardson layup made it 16-15 Wayne before the visitors made a run to take a 29-20 lead on a Lendon Davis 3. Richardson and Steve Gansey both made a 3 to make it a 4-point game at the break. Wayne State came in on a 10-game losing streak, having won just 1 road game all season. 3-pointers by Gansey and Brett Bartlett gave the Eagles the lead early in the second half, and then a barrage of free throws allowed Ashland to slowly take control of the game. Greg Peer made a layup with 3:39 to go to put AU ahead by 11, and that put them on their way to a 74-60 win, clinching a playoff spot with some help from other GLIAC teams. Richardson scored 21 points and grabbed 14 rebounds, and Bartlett and Brett Wackerly combined for 28 points and 11 assists. Wynn Sarden scored 29 points and pulled down 8 boards for the Warriors. And after no free throw attempts in the first half, AU hit 20 of 23 tries from the line in the final 20 minutes. Nationally ranked Findlay was next for the Eagles. Chip, would there be blood in the rematch?
You're really pumped about this Oscar theme. They say lightning doesn't strike the same place twice, so it seemed unlikely that the Eagles would pull off the big upset over the Findlay Oilers twice in one season. Findlay made sure this was the case. The Oilers took an early lead and never gave it back as they won the contest 90-75. In the game, all 10 starters scored in double figures, including 23 from Bartlett. Wackerly added 11 points and 2 steals. Tyler Evans led the Oilers with 23 points and 5 rebounds. Lee Roberts contributed 12 points and pulled down 11 boards. The loss dropped the Eagles to 13-14 overall and 7-10 in the GLIAC. But because of a Hillsdale loss on Saturday, Ashland earned the first wildcard spot in the GLIAC tournament. The first wildcard spot helps the Eagles avoid the number 2 team in the country, Grand Valley State University, for at least one round. Instead, much like the women, the Eagles will travel to Erie on Saturday to take on Gannon in the first round of the GLIAC tournament.
That's actually exactly like the women.
It is. This will be the 3rd straight year that the Eagles have made the GLIAC tournament. We'll have all the results from postseason play for both the basketball teams on the next edition of Game Time. I'm a little out of breath now from running up and down the court covering both these two teams. So let's take our first timeout, but don't worry, we'll be right back with more AU action and we'll put another athlete underneath the bright lights of the Game Time spotlight.
Outside and play, it's such a lovely day. One more thing to say, it's time to get away.
Hey Dad, when are we gonna go camping again?
We will sometime, but not now. I'm busy.
Surprise, surprise. I know, but you always say that.
We will sometime, just not now.
Well, at least come to the camper and see what I'm doing. I'm almost finished.
Just a minute.
Dad, come on, please. Dad, come on.
What does it take to get you back into the lives of your family?
Hey, who put all this stuff in here?
Sure glad you could make it, Dad.
Give them everything.
You know you have a choice, Dad.
Give them your time.
Lake or the river?
From the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
These are poor coal mining communities where there's no jobs and no health care. Last year we had 7,000 people, so we know it's needed. Instead of being stationary in one clinic, we bring this clinic to 8 communities. People appreciate so much that we're able to be there with them in a moment of crisis. And that is a gift which keeps me on the road and keeps me going.
Here's something to think about. New research shows that regular exercise and a heart-healthy diet may help to reduce the risk of Alzheimer's disease. Thinking ahead now might make all the difference tomorrow. For more ways to maintain your brain, visit the Alzheimer's Association at alz.org.
We're back. The men's indoor track and field team was in action February 15th in Findlay for the All-Ohio Championships. The men placed 3rd in the event as 2 individuals and 1 relay team took top honors. Brian Vickers won the shot put and Tom Scott took first in the 800-meter run. Max Hiltner, Anthony Begro, Scott, and Edwin Smith teamed up for the win in the distance medley. Dan Tierney took 2nd in the pole vault, Hiltner was 2nd in the mile run, Robert Klenk was 2nd in the weight throw, and the 4x400 relay team placed 2nd. Joe Horn, Nick Belanco, Jerry Azell, and Edwin Smith made up the squad. Cameron Johnson took 3rd place in the mile run, and the Eagles were in action this past weekend in Kent State. Chip, how did that go?
Well, almost all of the indoor men's track team competed at the Kent State tune-up this past weekend. We'll have more on the athlete that went elsewhere in a bit. Nick Belanco took home 1st place in the 200-meter dash, beating out 38 other competitors. The 4x400 meter relay team also took home gold. As Vale mentioned before, the members are Joe Horn, Vilanco, Jerry Azell, and Edwin Smith. The men's distance medley relay team took 4th place. Dan Tierney finished 1st in the high jump, with teammate Brian Mozena placing 3rd. As I stated before, not all of the AU athletes competed at Kent State this past weekend. Robert Klenk competed at the Central Missouri Classic, and he did quite well. Klenk threw the 2nd longest weight throw in NCAA Division II history. The only other person with a longer throw, Vale?
Michael Clayton?
That is incorrect. The right answer, Klenk's former teammate here at AU, Kibwe Johnson. The AU team will reunite this weekend as they compete in the GLIAC Championship in Findlay.
The Lady Eagles competed at the All-Ohio Championships in Findlay as well, taking 4th in the meet. Jen Tinney won the shot put event, and then Alyssa Klein placed 2nd in the 60-meter hurdles, while Steph Tinney took 2nd in the 400 meters. Jenna Ord was runner-up in the pole vault, and Tara Cooper finished 2nd in the weight throw. Cooper took 3rd in the shot as well. AU headed to Kent State for their next meet, much like the men, exactly like the men. Chip, tell the folks at home about that meet.
Like the men, the women also competed this past weekend at the Kent State tune-up. Alyssa Klein took 3rd in the 60-meter dash. Taking 3rd would be enough for most people, but Klein wanted more and finished 1st in the 60-meter hurdles. Not a bad day, huh, Vale?
That's a good one.
Lisa Roth took 2nd in the 300-meter hurdles. Shaylin Boyer took 2nd in the high jump. Jenna Ord placed 2nd in the pole vault. Alyssa Buttoneri finished 2nd in the shot put. And the women's team swept 1st through 3rd in the weight throw. Tara Cooper won the gold. Stark received the silver. And Buttoneri earned the bronze. The women will also compete in the GLIAC Championships this weekend at Findlay. Now, he's proven he can handle the weight throw pretty well, but will Robert Klenk be able to handle the tough, hard-hitting questions from Brendan Bittner on the Game Time Spotlight?
I'm Brendan Bittner, and I'm here with senior thrower Robert Klenk. And how are you tonight, Robert?
I'm doing pretty good.
Are you ready to go into the Game Time Spotlight?
I'm ready.
All right. Now, you went to Central Missouri State this weekend, and you now have the second longest weight throw in Division II history with a throw of 69 feet and 2 3/4 inches. How does it feel to have your name next to that distinction?
It's pretty neat. I actually, at the time, I didn't know that it was that far, but it's a pretty cool honor to have my name be number 2 all time. So it was pretty cool.
Okay, and now you come from a long line of throwers under Coach Logan. What's it like to work with a coach who's been to the Olympics? He's worked with the United States team. What kind of experience does he give you? His experience is awesome. Like, he knows that everything that I do when I take my throws, he's able to point it out to me like right away, and it's really awesome to have a coach that's able to do that and give me good feedback on every throw. And then what type of feedback can you get from A.G. Kruger? You also work with him. What kind of things does he point out to you? A.G., he's an Olympian, 2004, and he's my training partner, and we spend like every Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday mornings together throwing, and so he can really tell what my throw is supposed to look like, and he's just like Judd. He can kind of see everything and just feed back to me right away. Okay. Now you compete in both indoor and outdoor track. Yeah. What are the differences in preparation there? Preparation for indoors a little bit different because it's 35-pound weight, so it's a lot shorter and heavier, so it doesn't go as far. And outside we throw the 16-pound hammer, and it goes a lot farther. So it's a little bit different, but I've been throwing hammer all year round and weight, so it's kind of interchangeable right now. So you're ready for both? Yeah, I'm ready for both right now. When outdoor comes up. Yep. Now, track is a very individual-based sport, especially for throwers. Do you guys look at the team aspect of that at all? Like, do you work together as a team, or do you just concentrate on that individual aspect? There is the individual aspect, but we really try and keep it as a team together, as all our throwers and runners together. We actually have our conference meet this weekend, and for the first time in like 10, 15 years, we on the guys' side, we have a chance to beat Grand Valley at the conference championships. So that's where you look at the team aspects of trying to win conference championships. And last year at Outdoor Nationals, we finished 4th place for the first time in 13 years. So that was pretty cool to do as a team. Okay, we'll look forward to that matchup with Grand Valley. Ashland is now 2nd in the country in terms of the power rankings. And now you're a senior, Robert.
What are your plans after AU?
Well, I'm a geology major, but I kind of want to keep throwing, see what happens. Olympics are this year, 2008 in Beijing. I don't know if that's going to be in the cards, but I'd like to keep throwing, maybe train for 2012, see what happens. And if not, get a coaching job, and then after that, maybe get a real job. So.
Okay, good luck on that. That should be a very interesting pursuit for you. You're now off the Game Time Spotlight. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks a lot for having me.
All right, we'll be back with more Game Time Situation right after this.
Hi, Mr. President. My parents believe that eating meals together will make our country strong. Is this something that you did when you were a kid?
I did eat with my family so long as my mother wasn't cooking.
It's not good making fun of your mother, even if you are president, but it is good to have dinner with your kids. We know the more often children have dinner with their families, the less likely they are to smoke, drink, and use drugs. So simply having dinner together can help your children forever, even if you're not a great cook.
You're a good driver, a careful driver, and you don't stand a chance. Not at a railroad crossing with bad sight lines and no lights or gates, where vegetation, buildings, or hills block your view, where you can't see the train and you only have seconds before it hits your safe, careful self and you die. Go to angelsontrack.org to report dangerous crossings, because careful is just no match for a 200-ton locomotive.
My name's Andy McDonald. I ride this useless wooden toy for a living. It's hard. I've been doing it for 13 years. I'm still lame. I do a trick called a 540. It took me a good 6 years to learn. There's a whole generation of skateboarders out there that are just as talented athletically as any basketball or football player. It takes somebody that's not going to be afraid to fall down a lot, because you definitely will fall down. You're not a failure until you refuse to get back up. Drugs are only going to hinder what I'm trying to do. That right there is my idea of getting high.
E-File. Get receipt confirmation and a quicker refund. Log on or tell your tax preparer to e-file for you and join the 53 million e-filers who consider it done.
On February 13th, the AU men's wrestling team hosted Gannon at Cates Gymnasium. Ashland came in ranked 10th in the nation, while Gannon entered as the 12th team nationally. Ashland lost the first 3 weight classes before winning 6 of the last 7 weight classes.
Cardiac kids, they call them.
The AU turnaround began at 149 when Marcus Gordon raised his record to 17-9 with a 3-1 decision. The Eagles got to within 12-6 at 157 when Muhammad Abdul Rahman won 3-2. After 1-point decisions by Tony Bradbury at 165 and Justin Ferguson at 174, Ashland went ahead to stay 15-12 thanks to a 6-2 triumph by Jordan Job at 184. Josh Ohl finished out the scoring for the Eagles with a pin at 197. The win improved the Eagles to 9-8 on the season. Did the Eagles continue to win as they hosted West Liberty?
It appeared to be deja vu on senior night for the wrestling team as they took on West Liberty at Cates Gym. The lower weight classes struggled again, putting AU down 12-0. However, Marcus Gordon, Muhammad Abdul Rahman, Tony Bradbury, Justin Ferguson, Jordan Job, and Josh Ohl won consecutively, giving the Eagles a 23-15 victory. Gordon and Job were grappling on their senior night, making it a successful one for AU. The win helped Ashland move up a spot in the national rankings, making them 9th in all of Division II. Josh Ohl is ranked 3rd in his 197-pound weight class, while Muhammad Abdul Rahman is 6th at 157. He's just a freshman. The regional meet is next for the Eagles at Indianapolis this weekend.
We're going to get up off the mats now and take a little dip into the pool as we check on how the swimming teams fared at the GLIAC Championship meet. The meet was so large it took place over 4 days from February 13th through the 16th in Indianapolis. The Ashland women took 4th place in the 9-team meet. Wayne State took home the trophy. The AU 200 free relay team qualified for nationals. The 4 swimmers who will compete at nationals are Jennifer Knight, Jessica Hennick, Ashley Shoup, and Allison Morgan. Lizzie Wormer was 3rd in the 400 IM. Emily Hilgert collected a bronze medal in the 100 backstroke. Shoup was 4th in the 200 freestyle. We know for sure that 1 team is qualified for the national meet, but on our next Game Time we will have all the information from that. The women swam fairly well, Brian. How did the men do?
The men finished 5th in the GLIAC Championship meet as Grand Valley State won the event. The 400 freestyle relay team took 2nd as Derek Balo, Ben Monty, Eric Hackinson, and Sean McGraw touched the wall behind Indianapolis. The 800 freestyle relay team also finished in the runner-up spot. The group consisted of Sean McGraw, Ben Monty, Derek Balo, and Eric Hackinson. Hackinson won the 200-yard IM, also placing 4th in the 200-yard freestyle race. McGraw took 2nd in the 50-yard freestyle event, and Balo finished runner-up in the 500 freestyle. Several teams have qualified for nationals with the potential for a few more. As Chip said, we'll have all the details on those teams on the next Game Time Situation, as nationals aren't until spring break. The meet will be in Columbia, Missouri on March 12th through the 15th. Now, this is our final timeout, so get ready, folks. We'll be back with more Game Time right after this.
Our children want to know everything about the world around them. And yet, sometimes what they discover makes them feel vulnerable and insecure. In times like these, they need the comfort of an adult, the honesty of parents, and playtime to help them deal with their feelings and fears. Time that will literally heal their hearts. The gift of imagination allows children to see a better world. Playtime allows them a chance to practice creating it. Don't underestimate the power of play.
We're back, and I'm not sure if everyone knows this, but Vale and I live in Ohio. There also happens to be a lot of snow on the ground outside right now, but that didn't stop the baseball. You heard me right, the baseball team from traveling to Kentucky this past weekend to open up their regular season.
Kentucky, the main college plays in the SEC, the Southeastern. It's warm.
I'm sure there's snow there. Just my opinion, but it seems a bit early for baseball. Anyway, on Saturday, AU played Bellarmine for their first game of the season. The Eagles grabbed an early 4-1 lead in the 3rd inning. Left fielder Jeff Fultz singled with 1 out and stole second base. He was brought around to score on pitcher Ben Bernard's run-scoring single. Jeff Yates followed up with a single to push Bernard to second. Senior catcher Chase Beatty reached on an error by pitcher Michael Thompson, allowing both Bernard and Yates to score. The Eagles could not hold the lead, though. Bellarmine scored single runs in the 4th, 7th, and 8th innings to tie the game at 4-4. In the bottom of the 9th, the Bellarmine Knights were able to manufacture the winning run to drop the Eagles in their opening game of the baseball season. Now, certainly, Vale, the baseball team wouldn't leave Kentucky without a victory.
Well, the next day, the teams matched up for another afternoon affair. After a slow start, the Eagle Bats got hot, scoring 3 runs in the 4th inning. Matt McAllister hit a bases-loaded double, driving in 3 runs to put AU ahead 3-1. Bellarmine tied the game with a single run in the 4th and 6th innings. From there, a pitcher's duel broke out as no one scored until the 12th inning. Matt Schultz pitched 6 1/3 innings of 1-hit shutout ball, allowing the Eagles to eventually win the game. In the top of the 12th, Ashland used a variety of walks, singles, and sac flies to score 6 runs and win 9-3 to split the weekend series. Tyson Rowland, David Kuroga, Jacob Petcock, and McAllister each had 2 hits as 8 different Eagles scored runs in the game. AU will head to Fort Myers, Florida for their next set of games over spring break. Well, folks, that's all the time we have this week. We will return March 19th for our first spring edition of Game Time Situation.
That's right. We'll also update you on the postseason action of the winter teams and have another athlete on the Game Time Spotlight.
Sounds good to me, folks. No country for old men. Have a nice night.